gorgeous day here in Texas. Welcome to Fox College Football, sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. 66 degrees in Fort Worth for the 90th meeting between the Horned Frogs and the Longhorns as Texas comes in at number 15, finding a way to survive. It wasn't pretty, but they were able to figure it out against Kansas last week.
Ehlnger with the snap. Sam back to throw on first down. Steps up in the pocket. Fires deep over the no, caught by Johnson. Cullen is a first down. Ehlnger steps up, he'll run. 45, first down, and down he goes. Fires to look. Caught. Collins Johnson inside the 35 and a first down. Good snap and hold. Dinker's kick is up, and the kick is good.
Oklahoma trying to charge from way back in Manhattan. They're within a touchdown and just recovered an onside kick in the final minutes, trying to stay unbeaten. Otherwise, Baylor would be the lone unbeaten in conference play here as we reach late October. Welcome inside. Hope you're having a great day. Joe Davis, Brock Hewitt, Bruce Feldman joins us in a moment. Of course, Texas, Brock, last year under Tom Herman, they go to the Sugar Bowl. They go to the Big 12 championship, and so huge expectations coming into this year. They're 5-2 with a couple good losses, but with the way that last week went, it kind of has people wondering, where is Texas?
Yeah, I think there's legitimate concern. Offensively, you're good enough to be a playoff contender. They've shown that against the likes of LSU and Oklahoma. The challenge is defensively. In the nearly 600 yards they gave up to Kansas just a week ago. Yeah, and I think it's got people asking legitimate questions about Todd Orlando's group. Is it effort? Is it want to? Is it athleticism? Statistically speaking, if the season ended today, this would be the worst Longhorn defense in their history. Yeah. That's saying a little something, and that effort's got to change today.
So that's the bad. The good is Sam Ehlnger in this Texas offense.
Just awesome. I was down pregame looking at him. He is just such a rock of confidence. He's been through this now for 3 years with Tom Herman, and he is playing. The captain is playing at the level I think everyone expected him to. He's elevating the people around him. He's scoring touchdowns, and I seem to think his legs are going to be pretty active today against the TCU defense. And speaking of legs, well, his counterpart at the quarterback position on the other side, Max Duggan, that is what he is using. Over 100 yards a week ago. In fact, in many ways, Joe, he reminds me of Sam from 2 seasons ago. Learning on the fly, at times a little over-animated, times fundamentally unsound, but a whole bunch of grit and a whole bunch of belief in him around this facility.
Well, we talk about Texas issues on defense. Injuries becoming a bigger part of the story as well, as Caden Stearns will miss his 4th consecutive game with a knee injury. Thompson and Brown both out. DeMarvion Overshown will miss today's game with a shoulder injury. And B.J. Foster probably won't play unless there's an emergency and they need him back in there as he deals with a shoulder injury of his own. For more on this Texas defense, here's Bruce Feldman.
Joe, for Texas defensive coordinator Todd Orlando, the most frustrating issue has been the tackling problems. He said when you're dealing with so many young players, he said there's going to be some internal hesitation where you're worrying, am I going to get beat? He said as a coach, you always got to be mindful of that, because if you keep talking about missed tackles, that's probably only going to lead to more missed tackles. So all you really talk about is running to the football and to try to get 2 or 3 guys all around them. He said right now, this has been a major psychology class in terms of these younger guys. The message we keep harking on, just cut it loose, man. That's the biggest thing. We're going to make you a great player, but you can't fear anything.
Year 3 under Tom Herman for the Longhorns. Sights still set on a trip to the Big 12 championship game. And at number 15, the highest ranked 2-loss team in the country. Gary Patterson's team with its first home game in almost a month, hoping that it's what the doctor ordered, having lost 3 of the last 4. Off we go in Fort Worth with Texas winning the toss, deferring to the second half, and TCU ready to begin at the 25-yard line with the true freshman Max Duggan out of Lewis Central High School in Iowa, where he played for his father. 11 total touchdowns, no interceptions, and like you talked about off of the top, he has shown some big things on the ground. How about this run last week at Kansas State?
I think it surprised everybody, maybe even surprised Max a little bit, but he is a strong kid. He's strong in the weight room. It's carried over onto the field, and you could see this play just elevate the confidence of the people around him, and to me, that's one of the biggest keys. Got a good O-line, got some excellent wide receivers and a good run game. He's just got to elevate the people around him.
First play of the day for the Horned Frogs is a Darius Anderson run, and he gets a few. Stop made by Juwan Mitchell as we take a look at the TCU starters on offense.
And the left guard, Cordell Wagwu, is the captain of that group. He has the presence. There's 4 seniors on that offensive line, and Jalen Rager, he's the explosive maker on the perimeter.
Back-to-back run plays. Anderson gets tripped up by the corner to Sean Jamison. Part of this Texas defense that has struggled a ton. 638 yards against the Longhorns last week by Kansas in a 50-48 win.
Big third down here. Confidence of a true freshman. Confidence of a defense that was shaky a week ago.
They bring Shewo Olanalua into the game at running back. Tay Barber lined up in the backfield as well. Opening drive, 3rd down and 5. First throw for Duggan. He finds the crosser. Wide open Jalen Rager for a 1st down to the 40.
And you see a big pocket there. Been one of the challenges with this Texas defense. Malcolm Roach, he sets the tone on that defensive line, but they've got to be more active when they rush 4 and get home. Joseph Asai's got an engine that never stops. Sideline to sideline, plays as hard as anybody in college football. And Brandon Jones, one of the last men standing, the captain of the defense on the back end. A lot of inexperience around him.
He is the only upperclassman on the 2 deep in the back 8. We're talking 16 players, and he's the only junior or senior. Anderson tracked down from behind. He gets a yard. Stop made by Montrell Estelle. And you're talking about TCU offensively. You got a true freshman quarterback. You've got 2 really good running backs, and so they lean on this ground game, averaging 240 per game. That's 12th in America.
4 seniors on your O-line. I'd add in 2 pretty physical tight ends as well. 58% run for the one-time air raid quarterback and air raid system guy. Playing to the strengths of your group.
Sonny Cumbie in his 6th season at TCU. Rager the motion man on 2nd down and 8. Here's Shewo Olanalua, 6'3", 240 pounds, tumbles near midfield. Estelle with another tackle. The numbers for Texas defensively, especially over the last 4, unsightly.
Troubling. And really, in talking to Todd Orlando, just caught in between. You bring pressure, you get the big play against you. You sit back, and what they're doing right now, they're putting their cleats in the ground. You're not seeing a lot of disguise, just trying to get lined up. And as Bruce said earlier, let the guys cut it loose. But when you do that, you've been getting gashed as well, just in between, a place you never want to be.
TCU, one of the best 3rd down teams in the Big 12. 3rd and 1 here. Rager coming in motion. It's Olanalua straight ahead. He's hit in the backfield, and it doesn't look like he got it. Texas defense stands up here on 3rd and short.
As a middle backer, Juwan Mitchell, the junior college transfer this June that just pulled the trigger. Enough penetration early. But number 6 did exactly what Todd Orlando's asking his guys to do, and that's to play aggressive with the huge stop. And you can hear the locals, they don't like this decision on 4th and 1.
What do you think?
I think this is the right decision. Yeah, I think you've got to play to some of the strengths of your group, and it's certainly Gary Patterson's defense. But also be on high alert here. If you get the look you want in that defensive group here, if you got a fake in your back pocket.
Jordy Sandy, freshman punter, sends it away to Brandon Jones. Fair catch, and Texas will have the ball for the first time with Sam Ehlnger on the other side of this break. So here comes Texas on offense for the first time, and Sam Ehlnger, 67 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. He's top 5 in Texas history in yards and in completions and in touchdowns. And through 7 games this year, Brock, putting up as good a numbers as anybody ever has at Texas.
Most accurate he's ever been. When you got a guy that played as a true freshman, I'm always curious to watch their commitment to developing. And he has immensely. Physically, changed his body in his release, more over the top, and playing with more accuracy and anticipation than he ever has.
And they shift all over the place before the first snap. Begin the day with a Keontae Ingram run. He breaks free for a 1st down, crossing the 30. Coming off a bounce-back game, ran for more than 100 yards behind this offensive line that has made big improvements.
He ran right behind the center there, the captain, Zach Shackelford. He is a load, playing with great confidence because I think he believes in the people around him. And Devin DuVernay leads college football with 61 receptions on the season, many of those the slot receiver. They moved him inside, the right decision to make. And many of them are the bubble screen variety. Just get that guy the ball in space.
Ehlnger has a wide open Duvernay right at the sticks, his first catch of the day. And number 62 on the season to lead the country.
Well, those two have been really good. And look at the timing of this corner throw. The ball is out. It's to the perimeter. You just can't dial it up any better. Exactly what you would expect from a junior and senior.
With Kate Brewer tighter to the formation, John Burt screaming out there from the wide side, wondering what's going on. It's Ingram spinning his way across the 40.
And what's going on is Sam's looking at the defense there. The two safety look in the depth of those safeties. He changed what probably was a pass call into a positive run play.
Quickly back on the ball, bubbled it outside. Here's Duvernay hoping for some blocks in front, won't get him. It's 3rd and short. One of the games within the game here, one of the stories within this game is that veteran quarterback in Ehlnger you're talking about against Gary Patterson.
That's right, and a veteran secondary. 4 seniors that start in that TCU, and you can see the ranks defensively in conference. We've had a couple hiccups on a wet, sloppy field up in Ames, Iowa, where the Cyclones got after them. SMU in this building, some short fields, but by and large, this has been a sound, stout defense.
3rd down 3 for Texas. And again, Ehlnger IDing the defense, making a call at the line with 5 to snap it. Back to throw, facing pressure, stands in, floats one, back shoulder, what a catch. Colin Johnson, who had a huge game against TCU last year, brings it in for 21 and a first down.
He just crushed him. Plays just like this. 3rd downs, 4th downs, touchdowns. That elbow's in. Clearly, he possesses the ball. A nightmare matchup for the undersized corner.
Ehlnger on the roll, pressured from behind, and will throw it out of bounds, 2nd and 10.
You know, it's interesting. You brought up just the senior, right? Or junior, excuse me, in Ehlnger. It feels like he's a senior. He's been here forever. But just this back and forth with Gary Patterson, you love it. That's the growth and development, why they're so good in the red zone. And actually an area where TCU has been weak. But you know that Sam loves this matchup because it's not just about knowing his offense. He knows it inside and out. It's now about attacking that defense. That's where the growth has been in his game.
Into the short side, Ingram, foot in the ground, sheds a tackle and leans forward close to the 5. It's 3rd and short. Vernon Scott makes the tackle.
Young quarterbacks, Max Duggan on the other side, just want to know your own offensive play, your own personnel. Veteran quarterbacks start to attack the weaknesses of defenses.
They empty it out for Ehlnger here on 3rd and 3. He'll run it straight ahead. He's not going to get it. So a gain of 2, 4th and 1, and another early decision. Tom Herman going to send the field goal team out.
And I think that's the right decision. On the road, a quality defense, especially in this building. Want to pay off a productive drive and get points.
With Cameron Dicker, game-winning 33-yarder last week for the sophomore from Lake Travis. He's got it. So Texas strikes first here in the 90th meeting between Texas and TCU. They go 80 yards in 12 plays and settle for a field goal for the game's first points. Thing is drilled out of the end zone.
Coach Kleiman, coach a little football. North Dakota State, obviously a title winner time and again, brings his game just quality play.
Suddenly TCU saying maybe that loss last week doesn't look as bad. Here's Rager getting around the end. Yeah, getting a first down, stopped by Brandon Jones. It's a 24-17 loss for the Horned Frogs in Manhattan last week. Game they felt like they should have won.
Got to get this guy as many touches. Missed him a few times. Open against the Wildcats. Got to simply get the ball in the most dynamic player on your offense's hands any way possible.
4.29 in the 40, one of the fastest players in the conference. Here's Duggan running for the first time, and the freshman angles out of bounds with a first down.
Not surprised to see this commitment to the run. That's now 7 runs to 1 pass. You want to run right at these Longhorns. They've given up over 200 yards rushing. the last couple weeks. Been a struggle on that side to get off blocks, run right at them.
Given up 5 100-yard rushers in the last 4 games. That included Puka Williams last week going off. 190 for the Jayhawks. He is some player, by the way. From the 47, Duggan back to throw. Clean pocket. Floats one down the middle. It's intercepted by Brandon Jones. A flag down after the pick as Jones brings it back near midfield. First interception thrown by Duggan.
Well, remember I talked about young quarterbacks simply learning their play, and it's kind of difficult to learn the intricacies of what a defense is trying to do to you. Well, that's case in point. And you can see the shaking of the head. Can't believe it. That's the first pick of the year. Texas just runs 3, rushes 3, drops 8 into coverage. And that's a young quarterback that isn't attuned to exactly what's going on in coverage.
After the interception, a blindside block by number 44 of the intercepting team. It's a first down.
It's on Tyler Owens. So the interception stands, but this penalty will bring it way back.
Yeah, well, look at the clicker here, and this is just too deep by Texas. And I bet you that's what Max sees. He does not see, though, the safety right here. Brandon, that's sneaky, right? He's the 8th extra defender, just rushing 3. I don't think Max ever sees them. He sees those safeties split, as any young quarterback does. Study the safeties first, sees the safety split, but then you got to find the underneath coverage. And the captain, Brandon, he baits them, right? He's sitting there at a linebacker level, and you can see the penalty there, the blindside block pretty clearly by the true freshman Owens. Brandon gets underneath that seam route. And another learning lesson for a true freshman.
He'll float one. He's got Jake Smith. Incomplete off of the hands of the true freshman.
Boy, what a route. You don't see that very often from Jake, the National Player of the Year, the Gatorade National Player of the Year. Don't think the sun was in his eyes either. He runs a beautiful seam route. A little slant move early in that route and just off the freshman's fingertips.
And not an easy catch, right, when you're adjusting over the shoulder like that, but one that Texas fans already have come to expect him to make. Second and 10 against a 4-man rush. Ehlnger given time, and he gets intercepted. Anticipated by Garrett Wallow. And so TCU takes it right back with a first takeaway in 4 games.
How good is that? The junior linebacker, this is all about film study and preparation. He's right here. All right, just a 4-man rush, as you said, and that only happens with route study. And I'll tell you what, Ehlnger got fooled right there. He thought it was going to be a continuation of that in cut. Instead, Wallow runs the route, and most importantly, finishes the drill. That is rare. Ehlnger, Duvernay not on the same page. And the junior linebacker, the leading tackler, the playmaker of that defense, gets a huge takeaway, a rarity for this TCU defense.
Using some of his safety instincts when he came to TCU to play. Back and forth at that spot last year. He intercepts Ehlnger and sets TCU up at the 20-yard line. Rigger swings out. Osai reads it well, but can't catch up. Second effort brings him down. They're finding every way they can to get the ball in the hands of Jalen Rigger.
Osai is relentless. And Gary Patterson knows that's exactly what his crew needed. Just the 6th takeaway of the year. And only the 4th pick for Ehlnger. But Joseph Osai, 46, you just won't find a defensive player play as hard.
Second down and 5. Olanalua into the teeth of the defense. Didn't have much. Taquan Graham with a tackle, and quickly 3rd down.
Big play here for Todd Orlando. He's been very base through this first quarter. And by that, not a lot of pressure. He's just trying to get these young players comfortable, especially in the secondary. He loves to blitz. They do it as much as anybody in college football. Nearly 47% pressure on the season. But thus far in this first frame, trying to just let his guys cut it loose.
He's searching for some pressure, a lot like TCU defensively. Just 1 sack for Texas over the last 3 games. On 3rd and 4, Duggan heaves it out of the back of the end zone, feeling the pressure from the senior Malcolm Roach. Captain and the leader up front for the Longhorns makes it 4th down.
Yeah, and Duggan takes a pretty good shot here after he delivers it. Finally, the Longhorns bring a 5th defender. You're going to see the hands to the face there. In the NFL, that is a penalty. That is a fine. That's a penalty. Can't hit quarterbacks at the next level like that, Malcolm. But he takes care of business against Duggan. No chance with the unblocked Roach in his face.
And so Jonathan Song, redshirt senior in his career inside 40 yards, is 27 for 28. This one from 32. Out of the hold of Jordy Sandy. Right down the middle to tie the game at 3. Late in the first quarter, all tied up here in Fort Worth. Those are sweet. Huh? Take a look at the one to watch, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Joseph Osai. I mean, we talk about the defense having a tough season as a unit, but Joseph Osai, their leading tackler, doing some good things.
Yeah, and you know, I'll take Todd Orlando at his word. This isn't about want to. When you watch the effort of Osai and many of the guys up front, they are playing hard. It is just at times being out of position. It's very poor tackling, which you have not seen in this first quarter. They have been the better tackling team between the two. And Osai is a joy to watch because you feel his joy to play this game.
Deshaun Jamison, who has a kick return touchdown this season, waits back on Griffin Cowell's kick. Fair catch taken by Jake Smith. Tied at 3. Beautiful place. Beauty.
Just a perfect day for football in the upper 60s.
Well, yesterday wasn't looking good. One of the coldest days in months here. They start this drive with the first touch for Roschon Johnson. What a story Roschon Johnson is. True freshman and a highly touted quarterback recruit. But running back after running back goes down during training camp with an injury. So Roschon Johnson shoots a text to Coach Sherman and says, hey, can we talk? I want to move to running back because I see that's what the team needs right now. He was an emergency option at that point, but has turned into one of their best options and is burning his red shirt as that's tossed incomplete wide of Elvante Woodard. It'll be 3rd down and 8. He was 3rd in the depth chart when they moved him. Another injury opened up a role. And then they had another decision to make. Do you want to shut it down at 4 games in redshirt? He said, no, you need me right now. I'm going to keep playing.
That's a true freshman. Incredible maturity.
3rd down and 8. TCU showing pressure. They're going to bring it. Ehlnger gets rid of it. Incomplete. Was the contact early? Doesn't look like it with the coverage from Trayvon Merrick. Intended receiver Cade Brewer, 4th down.
Ooh, I think he was a little bit early here. But a bang-bang play, and the officials are going to let him play. I like Merrick. He is a young safety that is growing into it. You see that body contact early.
That's way early.
Yeah, I'm surprised. And usually those back judges see that contact before the ball gets there. That's what you're looking for. Does he impede, in that case, Brewer's opportunity to go get it? I think he does. That's got to be a penalty.
TCU is 2nd in the country in 3 and outs. Forced their first one today, and Ryan Buchevsky out to punt. Fair catch taken at the 36. Yeah, that's where TCU will have it. 90th meeting between these programs. First one was in 1897. Back to Olanalua. Now, it's a good thing, right? Intensity. He's a perfectionist. Those are good qualities. But at the quarterback position, it can also work against you.
It's a fine line. And I don't, the one thing that's jumped out to me a little bit is deliberate.
He's going to keep it here, and he will slide down with Deshaun Jamison bearing down on him.
Deliberate in delivery, right? Just wanted to make sure that you're confirming everything you see rather than playing with some anticipation. And it is hard as a true freshman, right? You want to get everything right. You want to make all the calls. You do, as you said earlier, you want to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to be right.
That's been Sonny Cumbie's message to him. They'll let that first quarter clock wind down, and they'll discuss this 3rd down and 5 play as we get ready for the second. 3-3 after a quarter in Fort Worth. Pretty even so far in every measure. Both teams with 1 turnover. Each team getting an interception. And the second quarter begins with a 3rd down and 5 for TCU. It's been almost exclusively on the ground so far for the Horned Frogs. 13 of their first 16 plays have been run plays. On 3rd and 5, they'll look to throw. Extra man comes for Texas. Duggan gets rid of it, but incomplete, off of the hand of Tay Barber. But there is a flag down with perhaps a call on Keandre Coburn, hitting Duggan late.
Yeah, in driving, I think driving the freshman into the ground.
A personal foul, roughing the passer by number 99 of the defense.
So not as much late.
15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
As it was the way that he finished.
And we saw the contact earlier, Roach to the helmet. And I said to you during break, they're letting these guys play. Yeah, I don't think it's late. I think it is this move right there of just driving 330 pounds into the turf.
Now, throwback guys, traditionalists are not going to like that call at all. But
And Tom Herman doesn't like that call. The only thing he's going to say is if you're going to call it that way and my guy Ehlnger takes a hit like that later, you better be consistent.
It's much more crowded inside defensively for Texas here on 1st and 10. From the 18-yard line, there's Rager in motion. It's a lead play. Duggan reversing, and Malcolm Roach. Couple of nice plays early on in this game. The senior from Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Yeah, not surprised to see the senior captain responding. Right, a big slice of humble pie was served in Austin last weekend with the Kansas Jayhawks going up and down the field. Who was going to take some pride? You've seen Osai sideline to sideline, and Malcolm Roach has been a factor through the first 17 minutes as well.
Missed the first half during that humble pie eating game last week after the Targan penalty. He's in the middle of it again. Roach throws down Tay Barber on the sweep.
Well, you've got to block him. Right, you're going to see right guard, right tackle here. There's just some miscommunication. You let him go. That can't happen. Right, one of those two has at least got a slow play. Right, you're trying to deceive a senior captain that's seen just about everything. But the one thing you can't do is let that big man get ahead of steam.
That's already 3 tackles for loss for Malcolm Roach, and it makes it 3rd and 17. See if they let the freshman quarterback go for it, if they just play conservatively, look for the field goal. He's looking end zone, wants it all. It's a touchdown. Pro Wells from 24 yards on 3rd and 17.
Well, we saw the interception earlier on a seam route, and this time there's going to be no middle defender that gets underneath this seam. But in fact, that's safety right here. And if you're Orlando, you are thinking you have got to make this play. You have got to undercut. That ball is in the air an awful long time, and I guarantee you, if that's Caden Stearns, if that's Chris Brown, if that's one of the veterans, they go and get it. They don't, and TCU capitalizes.
And so TCU able to take advantage of the 3rd down penalty on Keandre Coburn. It's Pro Wells, his 4th touchdown on 8 catches this year, and TCU leads for the first time. 8 catches for Pro Wells this season, 4 of them for touchdowns. It leads TCU, and the Horned Frogs lead for the first time.
Will it be slugging percentage? Pretty good slugging percentage.
Yeah,
some damage being done.
It gets paid these days. Number 10 for Duggan. That matches Andy Dalton for the most by a freshman in TCU history. The thing where there's a huge edge for Duggan is that Andy Dalton had 11 interceptions during that freshman season, and Duggan has thrown just 1. It was earlier today. Cole Bunce kicks it out of the end zone. Sam Ehlnger started this game hot, 4 of his first 4. He's 0 of his last 5. He's facing pressure. He's got a one-on-one and takes advantage with Colin Johnson. But another flag down. Maybe a face mask on Scott.
A personal foul, grabbing the face mask by number 26 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's first down.
Moves it all the way to TCU territory.
Corner blitz. You bring Gladney off the corner, and it leaves a safety in a one-on-one. Corners can't cover Colin Johnson in a one-on-one, and that time Scott could not get around the big frame when pressed, and you saw it last week in the game-winning drive. 3 receptions to Colin Johnson. You saw it in this matchup a year ago. When pressed, you know where Ehlnger's going with the ball. It's big number 9.
who's been slowed by a hamstring injury this season. Here's Ingram, stop and start, gets a few. Johnson getting healthy and has been really good lately. It's hard to figure much out in the Big 12 this year, isn't it? Really across college football.
And Ehlnger trying to figure out that coverage right now. Lots of check with me in the run-pass game.
Well protected here. He'll float one down the seam, perfectly thrown, and Duvernay's in. Touchdown, Texas. A 47-yard strike.
Well, we saw those two earlier miss on a little option route for an interception. You're not going to miss on that, and it's Duvernay's speed. It is the second gear here, right there, out of his cut. A little out cut right to the vertical. And those two have largely been on the same page this year. Duvernay, the country's best in receptions per game, puts another touchdown on the board. And that move by him from outside into the slot plays perfectly his senior year into his skill set. Been a monster.
This game is tied at 10. These teams matching one another so far. Field goal, touchdown, touchdown. All tied up at 10 here in Fort Worth. Joe Davis, Brock Heward, Bruce Feldman. Devin Duvernay, former track champion in high school. He had one-on-one, and they took advantage with a perfect throw.
What a great move by the staff to put his skill set in position. He was fine outside playing split end, but he is so much better in the league at the next level. Covets that skill set, the quickness to get in and out, and then the ability to just press it vertically. And Duvernay is a blast to watch. It was very surprising to see that interception earlier. Just some miscommunication because he and Ehlnger have been spot on this season.
Well, who would have thought that move that they made one day before camp, moving him to the slot, would lead to this? One of the best in the country so far this year. Jalen Rager hitting the seam hard. Tripped up as he crossed the 20. The ball comes out. Did the ground force it, or do they say this is indeed a fumble? There is no signal yet. The officials coming together. Ground forced it, no question. We'll see what the call is on the field, but one way or another, this is going to be TCU ball. Horned Frogs back on offense. Duggan into the flats. And Carter Ware gets hit promptly by Brandon Jones.
We were talking an awful lot about these Longhorns and knew what we had in Sam Ehlnger. Would they be able to play defense? Would they be able to pull the trigger? Would there be much more effort on this side of the ball? And definitively, the answer has been yes in this first half.
It's 103 yards for TCU so far. Midway point of the second quarter. Texas showing pressure off of the edge of the top. They're going to run into it. Darius Anderson trying to get around the corner. Estrell hit him first, and then Jalen Green angled him out, third and short.
We've done that a number of times with their corners today. Boyce, Jamison, all of them. Estelle that time chasing the play down, but that corner being very active in the run game. Making sure there's enough eyes committed defensively to play as a whole unit, something that was a challenge for Todd Orlando's crew a week ago.
A week after giving up 638 yards to Kansas, 109 so far against TCU. And they're reading the same clips and hearing the same things that fans are throughout the week. They know that they're looked at as the weak link. Taking some pride in it. On third and short, blown up by Marquez Bimage. Now the junior from Brenham, Texas, makes it fourth down, and they are playing really well so far.
Yeah, look at the late line stunt. A, I like that. B, look at the penetration of your big nose tackle. He forces that run to bounce just a little bit. Want to run it between the tackles. Coburn gets the push, and Bimage gets the finish. That is team defense. What you did not see a week ago. Could not defeat blocks. We're getting blown off the ball. Not the case in Fort Worth this afternoon.
And this is against one of the top run offenses in the country. Sandy to punt it. Jake Smith waiting back. They're coming after it. He gets rid of it, but it is a bad one. Out of bounds, not even reaching midfield. So Texas with great field position and a 10-10 game when you come back.
Texas is a place
Near the 2-minute mark. They bring just 4 again. Ehlnger steps up, throws a wobbler, but it's to a wide-open Duvernay, and a first down inside the 40. Well, he came loose for a gain of 28.
So heads up here. Young quarterback takes off and runs. Veteran quarterback, the game slows down. His eyes never leave the target down the field. Big play.
Right back to Duvernay on the bubble this time. Steps out of the tackle attempt of Mayrick. That's how he's gotten a lot of his catches this season. In the quick game on the bubble. Turns this one into a nice gain. 2nd down and 2 for Texas. Here's Ingram swinging out of the backfield. Got a couple of great blocks and hit the sideline for a first down. Blocks out there from Jared Wiley, who replaced Cade Brewer, and John Burt.
Gosh, you just see a quarterback that knows exactly what he wants to do and how he wants to attack. This is just an extended sweep play. Excellent effort as you see Brewer's replacement come in there, the true freshman Wiley. But Ehlnger in complete control of how he wants to attack this TCU defense.
1st and 10. They fake the flip into the short side. End zone for Johnson. Goes up the ladder, but incomplete. Again, it's Johnson against Gladney. I don't know about you, but I can't wait for another half of this matchup.
Yeah, and then you're going to get it. You're going to get 4 or 5 more of these opportunities, just one-on-one situations. This is what you call good on good. Best on best. And just by inches, Collins out of bounds.
2 of the best players at their respective positions in the Big 12, head-to-head right there.
I love the grass stains on that receiver's jersey.
2nd down and 10. Ehlnger, wide open Ingram, touchdown Texas to retake the lead. Out of the backfield for a 17-yard score.
Well, this is just a total bust. Something you don't see out of the backfield very often from TCU. Some miscommunication here. Doesn't get any easier. This is a TCU defense that's solid in so many spots, Joe. But this is the one area, red zone defense, where they're at the bottom of the conference. It doesn't make a lot of sense because they don't make those mental errors and those busts. And if you do that against Ehlnger and company, you're going to pay.
Yeah, Texas as well equipped to exploit red zone defensive issues as anybody. One of the top 5 teams in the country at converting trips into the red zone into touchdowns. Darius Anderson on the kick return for TCU. There are flags down as he brings it back across 25. They rush only 3. And so tight windows, finds a hole-in-one in John Stevens. Choosing not to use the first of those.
I think you got to take that time out there, don't you, and save the 7, 8, 9, 10. Well,
at least.
Too late now.
Clock runs all the way down to 30 seconds. 2nd and 2, another low snap. Another crosser. It's to Valence Hunt. Now, you would assume they'll use the timeout, and they do. 22 seconds. Next, Duggan and the Horned Frogs. 2 timeouts remaining. Texas brings a little heat here. Duggan finds Hunt again, racing for the sideline. He's got it. Tripped up by Mitchell. The clock stops at 15 seconds. Well, they do have a long field goal specialist looking ahead to that, and Griffin Kell, who's hit from 50 in his football career back in high school nearby Arlington. They need to get to the 33 to get to that range. So about 15 yards away from that. On 1st and 10, 15 seconds. Another corner blitz coming from Texas. And doing that all afternoon. It's picked up. Duggan for Barber. Jones stops him. And here comes the second Horned Frog timeout. We saw Jonathan Song, who is usually TCU's place kicker. His career long is 46. Anything 45 or longer, typically going to have Kell handle, though. From here, it'd be a 59-yarder. Trying to get another little chunk. Incomplete. Miscommunication with Rager. Only 3 seconds run off. There's a borderline, right? Can you run a quick route? Use a timeout. Be borderline. There's some people that were surprised Sam Ehlnger and Texas ran the extra play to set it up a little bit closer before the final field goal from Dicker last week. What are you doing? Quick little play?
Yeah, I think you do. I think you've got to try to throw a little quick out, something to the boundary.
Instead, with the timeout, they go right up the middle and use that timeout with 1 second. Second reception of the drive for John Stevens. And that does put it at least into conceivable range. Should be a 52-yarder here.
It's well done.
So how about Griffin Kell from nearby Arlington High School? True freshman, preferred walk-on. Got a very efficient guy in Jonathan Song, just doesn't have the biggest leg. And so Kell will try this one officially from 52. Final play of the first half. Kell steps into it. Did he get it? You bet he did, with plenty to spare. Kept his eyes on the ball and drilled it from 52.
Just like a good caddy, right? Keep your eyes down. Stay down on the ball. Don't look up. Trust your fundamentals, says the senior Song to his buddy, the true freshman, who just hits it perfectly.
Well done by TCU on the final possession there. 17-13 after a half. Now we go to Mike Hill for the State Farm halftime show. Back here in Fort Worth in our Geico first half stats. Pretty tight game. 17-13. Texas in front as we get ready to go with half number 2. And we welcome it back inside. Joe Davis with Brock Heward. Sam Ehlnger during that first half. Not his most efficient half. He was below 50%, but more than 200 yards. He hit some big plays.
He sure did. We've had the good fortune this year, haven't we, to watch some craftsmen at the position. Jalen Hurts, we watched at Oklahoma. Justin Fields a week ago, and I would add Sam right to that list of guys that are just in total and complete control. There's never panic, even though TCU got some rush and got after him a little bit, giving his guys the opportunity down the field to make the big play. Here's the touchdown to Duvernay, the big seam route. To me, this was the play of the first half. 3rd and 16 to throw that corner route to Colin Johnson with absolutely no room and margin for error. And then finally the touchdown to Ingram, just dispersing the ball to everybody. And you're right, Joe, the numbers, the efficiency, the pass completion, not what you've normally seen, but against a Gary Patterson defense, to have 280 total yards, 211 throwing for Sam by himself. Very impressive.
Played a lot of games over his 3 years here at Texas. That's his second highest first half total. Those 211 yards. And he'll have it to begin the second half with Jake Smith and Deshaun Jamison. Back for the kick from Cole Bunce. 90th meeting between Texas and TCU. Got a good second half coming for you here on Fox. A fair catch from Smith. Texas will start at the 25, and here's Bruce Feldman.
Joe, Brock was spot on. When I talked to Gary Patterson a minute ago, he was very, very frustrated with his defense. Miscommunication. He said we blew 4 calls. That really frustrated him. He said we just got to play our defense. That's what he said over and over again. Play our defense. Play our defense. On the other side of the ball, Tom Herman was actually told me he was proud of how his defense has responded. Didn't love the last drive. He thought they let up a little bit. On offense, Herman says they really need to run the ball better, control the football a little more, but he was pleased with how his team is coming out and playing hard.
280 yards in that first half for the Texas offense. 211 of those 280 through the air. Roschon Johnson, who carried it just once in the first half, lined up in the backfield. They flip it to him here. Not much room. He's pushed out of bounds by Garrett Waddle.
Gary Patterson's adamant to Bruce Feldman after the first half. We just got to play our defense. Those are the techniques he's talking about. You can't give Sam Ehlnger anything. You've got to play your defense. You got to know where your help is coming. And then ultimately on these downs and distances, you got to get one of the best in the country off the field.
How about Colin Johnson not on the field here? Again, he's still working his way back from that hamstring injury. Missed a few games because of that. Their best third down target on the sideline for this 3rd and 7. Ehlnger over the middle. He's got a first down and more with Duvernay. Devin Duvernay inside the 30, inside the 20, and inside the 10. takes a big play and turns it into a huge play. 63 yards, first and goal.
Just an inside slant. You see the pressure, and Duvernay can do it all. And this is what he is equipped to do. A 10-300-meter guy, so difficult to tackle. You see the lower half, the strong legs, breaking tackles. Huge play.
Right back to Duvernay. Gets just one this time into the arms of Jeff Gladney. That is the 4th play, Brock, of 20 or more yards for Devin Duvernay today.
Amazing. And I'm not going to use the words the coaching staff did to describe him and his style, but let's just say he's feisty and angry. That's the way he plays, which is exactly the way you want your slot receiver to play. Quiet kid, but yeah, Tom Herman said mean and angry all the time. 2nd and goal. Duvernay goes out. Colin Johnson comes back on. He's got one-on-one coverage. I beg your pardon, he's to the near side. Ehlnger fakes the run, lobs it incomplete, looking for Reese Lato. It's the old Tim Tebow type play, huh? Sure was.
Forever known as such.
I think he had a hard time gripping the ball, and then the upward energy took that ball way out of bounds.
Again, Texas, one of the best teams in the country at converting trips into the red zone into touchdowns. 3rd and goal from the 4. Watch the back. Ehlnger, end zone. Johnson adjusts with a flag down. He's got it for a touchdown, but did he push off? And judging by the lack of celebration from Johnson, I think that he knows he's guilty.
Yeah, you can get away with it if you just keep that arm inside, right? If you almost use your forearm, but anytime you plant your hand on that chest plate and you use it to separate, you're going to draw the penalty. Just subtle. You got to be subtle with that movement.
An ineligible downfield player, number 56 of the offense. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, number 9 of the offense. That penalty is accepted. It's 3rd down.
Another big penalty, moves it all the way back to the 20.
Yeah, that was Shackelford, the center, that was in the end zone. But it was the obvious push off there. You just got to be a little more subtle. Hard to do when you're 6'6".
So instead of 3rd and goal from the 4, 3rd and goal from the 20. Ehlnger rolls, lets it fly, incomplete. Johnson defended tightly by Gladney. He was flushed off his spot. Ehlnger was by Wyatt Harris, and the field goal team comes out.
Yeah, that is a big red zone stop for a Horned Frog defense that has struggled in that area of the field. That's now a couple of them today. And remember, Dicker missed the field goal, the chip shot earlier.
For Dicker, it was just his 3rd miss this season. 9 of 12. This is his longest attempt today from 38, and it is perfect. So the lead is a touchdown for Texas midway through the 3rd quarter. 20-13. Developing story in this game, Brock. Texas offensively turns red zone trips into touchdowns about 85% of the time on the season. That's top 5 in the country. 1 for 4 today. Touchdown, 2 made field goals, 1 missed. Jalen Reagor. I beg your pardon. Darius Anderson bringing it back.
But for Cumbie and crew, the strength of this team is their run game, and Texas has largely neutralized it this afternoon.
Credit to those guys up front, Roach and Colburn and Graham. From the 30-yard line, Duggan to throw against pressure on 1st down. Underneath, it's Artavius Lynn, his 2nd catch. And Duggan now 11 of his last 13.
And most of those under 10 yards. You've not seen the shot down the field. Texas has played fairly conservatively, those young safeties deep. But the guy at some point here over the final 22 minutes, Jalen Reagor has to be a factor. He is too dynamic. Freshman player of the year a couple years ago, has got to find a way to impact this game.
not even on the field at this point. It's Barber and Hunt to the top. It's Mikel Barkley to the bottom of the screen as they hand it off to Shewa Olanalua. And the big back has a first down to the 45.
And that's about the first time where they've gotten movement at the point of attack. Texas has reset that line of scrimmage for one of the rare times. A little power concept pull, left guard, left tackle. And the 240 back actually had movement in front of him to move the chains.
Rager does come into the game here. The bottom of the screen on 1st and 10 from the 45. Duggan has all day. Here's the deep ball. Tay Barber. First down and goal, TCU. A perfect strike. 51 yards to Barber.
I mean, you just know at some point you have to test the inexperience. This is the true freshman Owens. A beautiful double move by Barber, and then an even better job through contact to catch it.
Now it's Duggan towards the goal line, inside the 1, and it's 2nd and goal.
Boy, were they excited to get Tay Barber back. Second leading receiver as a true freshman a year ago. And finally, the opportunity to get after the inexperience in the Texas secondary. Not horribly played by Owens, just a better effort and a little more burst in speed by the super sophomore making an impact.
Duggan lost his shoe, and they're going to use this as an opportunity, it looks like, to go into the Wildcat. On 2nd and goal inside the 1, they will snap it to Shewa Olanalua. In the backfield with him, the tight end Pro Wells. Olanalua, 240-pounder, wants the snap. Gets it right side towards the end zone. Untouched. Touchdown, Horned Frogs. Now with an extra point of a tie game in Fort Worth.
Yeah, watch the big right tackle right here. Lucas Niang, not a surprise. You're running behind some of your best people. Look at you set the edge. My goodness gracious. You don't see holes like that ever. Haven't seen it much in this game. But the right side of the line, and Lucas dominant, allowing Olanalua to find 6.
Extra point from Jonathan Song ties the game at 20. Been looking for some big plays through the air. Been looking for Tay Barber, really just his 2nd game this season where he's been healthy. The big completion sets up Shewa Olanalua, and we are tied late in the 3rd. Tied at 20, 5.5 left to go in this 3rd quarter as Shewa Olanalua finishes off the key play in the drive, the 51-yard catch from Tay Barber.
About what we expected today. Look at these two teams, very evenly matched. Duggan, a guy we know that gets more comfortable with more game that goes on. The biggest players, some of the biggest stars coming in have shown up today. Well played, highly contested game.
It's a touchback. Texas opens this drive with an Ehlnger throw to Colin Johnson. Strong hands to hang on to that thing.
Pass complete to Johnson.
Jeff Gladney bearing down on him.
Those two have been going at it all day long, man.
It's been awesome. 6 catch for Johnson. Not a whole lot of room there for Ingram. Clyde Harris, the tackle. We check in with Bruce Feldman.
Hey, Joe, injury update on Ryan Buchevsky, who executed that fake punt about early in the 3rd quarter. He is done for the rest of the game with a shoulder injury.
And in a tight game, as we often see, special teams typically play a big role. TCU trying to force Texas's hand into using the backup punter here. 3rd and 7. Ehlnger steps up, zips one that gets picked off. Ardarius Washington, what anticipation for the redshirt freshman to get his 3rd pick.
Wow, this is big time. This is a true freshman in Jake Smith that's going to run the in cut, but you're going to see the safety run the route for him. First of all, he gets bumped there by Wallow. That sets him off his route. And then the eyes and the wisdom. TCU's scheme, Joe, it's so fun to study. They want 3-on-2. That's the essence of what Gary Patterson's defense is. I want to rush 4 so I can have my 3-on-2 so they can read, so they can cut it loose, so they can react and make big plays like that. And Ehlnger, I know, did not anticipate that safety running the route better than his true freshman slot receiver.
And now with a sudden change in the ball at the 44, you know, Texas would be on high alert for a shot play from TCU. They're bringing pressure. And Duggan looks over the top. Jalen Rager, bang, touchdown. And TCU takes the lead.
TCU has had the need for speed. That's a no contest. Eyes in the backfield for Deshaun Jameson, the corner, the young corner. He never feels the speedster blow right by him. Rager gives the young freshman quarterback plenty of room to throw that ball to. And we were calling for him a few minutes ago. Rager made his name known too.
One of the fastest players in the Big 12 shows off that 4.3 speed. Back-to-back long touchdown drives for TCU. Big strike here on a 27-20 lead. 44-yard touchdown for Jalen Rager, who's had a frustrating season. I mean, this is a guy who last year caught 72 balls, more than 1,000 yards. But as they've struggled at quarterback, struggled to get in the passing game going, his numbers way down. They say that despite all that, he's continued to work really hard. He's continued to be a good leader. No complaining at all for him. And now the pressure put back on Sam Ehlnger in Texas, trailing for the first time since it was 10-3.
Yeah, and what Tom Herman told us this week, just about being a psychologist, right? Making sure the guys mentally are in the right place, the right space. Challenge here now over the final 19 minutes.
Yeah, another thing, they've always gotten a lot of turnovers here under Gary Patterson. Hasn't been the case this season. Came into the game with just 5 of them. They've got the 2 today, and they've got Wallow and Blacklock combining to drop Ingram for a loss of 3.
Yeah, Blacklock destroyed that play. Whenever you have polars, Gary Patterson knows that you destroy that with penetration. Blacklock does, and Wallow cleans up. Those two been dynamite this season and this afternoon.
Texas thought that Ross Blacklock probably the best nose they're going to face this season. Guy that missed all of last year with an Achilles injury after he was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year in 2017. Likely the final play of the third quarter. Ehlnger facing pressure, rolling to his right, keeping his eyes downfield. There's a flag down as he throws another interception. This one from Trayvon Merrick. Penalty is a hold. It's declined. Sam Ehlnger, intercepted 3 times over the first 7 games of the season, has been intercepted 3 times today by TCU.
3 big turnovers. A team that has struggled this season. Don't have a fumble recovery yet on the entire season, but they got 3 takeaways from one of the country's best quarterbacks, and they've set their offense up in position to begin the 4th.
Ready for the 4th quarter. That 3rd quarter owned by TCU, which leads at 27-20. They had 5 takeaways over the first 6 games. They've got 3 today on 3 picks of Sam Ehlnger. The latest from Trayvon Merrick, making it 1st and 10 of the Texas 36. Here's Jett Anderson into the arms of Joseph Osai.
Ehlnger with 3 picks, a Texas run game that tried to run it 9 times in that 3rd quarter for 16 yards. Against this defense in this building, you have to have balance. No matter how good Ehlnger has been this season, if you become one-dimensional against a Gary Patterson defense, you're up against it.
They average about 3.5 yards per play during that 3rd quarter, and then you put the turnovers on top of it. And you've got TCU in control here, like they were though last year in this matchup, and Texas was able to come from behind to win. Back-to-back runs. Duggan this time. He's got a first down. Stopped by Montrell Estelle.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see an awful lot of this in the final 15 minutes. You're going to mix in your shots down the field, but I think this is also time where Gary Patterson is feeling the way his defense is playing. Run a little clock. Not about tempo right now. Duggan more than capable as a runner. Look at the bandage. He had that bandage on his right elbow before the game. He's Iowa tough. He does not mind holding on to that ball, and I think a smart play here, start utilizing this to just maximize these opportunities and shorten the number of possessions and chances you give Ehlnger on the other side.
Running it inside 10 seconds, all the way down to 5 before they snap it. Here comes Anderson running with a purpose right through Jones. The ball came out. TCU was able to get back on it with Coy McMillan. Big collisions here early in the fourth quarter of this rivalry matchup. Second and 5. Duggan looked right. Now he'll run and get 3. Odeli Adewe with a tackle, and it's 3rd and short.
That was a big-time tackle by Adewe. He didn't make it. Duggan maybe one-on-one with the safety for a touchdown. That was a cool design QB draw off a little screen look. Here comes the big back.
The Wildcat with Olanalua. They ran it once today on the goal line, and Olanalua went into the end zone untouched.
And it was right behind the right side. If you're going to run it somewhere, it's more favorable behind the Yang, your right tackle.
Olasami at right guard. They've also got Carter Ware in there, the fullback, and the tight end in Artavius Lynn. It's Olanalua. He will lose yards as Brandon Jones gets there first. They had plenty of help. White shirts surrounding Olanalua and making it 4th down.
But it was the early penetration. I knew it. You knew it. I think everybody in this building knew that that ball was going to go to the right side. And you see the amount of pursuit and effort there. Osai sets it up. It's his early penetration. And that guy's got no give up in him whatsoever.
Here comes a field goal attempt from Jonathan Song. And boy, couldn't Texas use what they got twice last week. That is a block kick. 1 field goal, 1 extra point. From 33 yards. Makes it look easy. And for the first time today, the Horned Frogs lead it by 2 scores as they've scored 17 straight against Texas. Very similar to last year's game. Turnovers in the 3rd quarter have flipped things. It was the other way around last year where Texas took control and took over with a couple of 3rd quarter takeaways. But TCU twice intercepting Sam Ehlnger in the 3rd, and they've scored 17 straight, lead it by 10.
What though, give some credit to that much maligned Texas defense right there. A huge 3rd down stop, not a touchdown, not 14 points. And for a veteran team, they've got to get it right up front. If they don't protect and run the ball, it's going to be really hard to find the end zone here in the 4th.
Smith takes the fair catch. Ehlnger to the sideline. Johnson again. This time Glandy wins the battle.
Football can be so complex at times, right? We study all these details. Now, offenses will have a couple hundred plays, and then ultimately it comes down to these one-on-one situations. How many different battles between these 2 warriors here in Fort Worth today? A senior there, 2 seniors that have just been going after it for the last few years, and good on display all afternoon.
Ehlnger to throw on 2nd and 10. Feels the pressure. Steps up. Wings it outside. Roshan Johnson with a spin move. Now he cuts it back and gets hogtied. It's a flag for a face mask. 2nd penalty of the drive that leads to a 1st down.
A personal foul grabbing the face mask by number 6 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and a 1st down.
Yep, at the end there, Blacklock gets a hold of the face mask. Moves it into Horned Frog territory.
40-40, your shot zone where you like to take those vertical opportunities.
Seen TCU do it a couple times. Does Texas do it here? Instead, Ehlnger runs. Sam Ehlnger has a first down.
That's been the component I've not seen nearly as much as I thought today. Maybe he's just waiting to winning time. All of that coverage, 3 over 2. Got to find that lane to run. Ehlnger more than capable over the course of his career. He scored a lot of touchdowns on the ground. I have a hunch before this afternoon's over, he's going to try to do that again.
23 of them in his 3 years as the man in Austin. 9 minutes to go. He and the Horns trailing by 10. Feeling his way through the pocket and running again. Ehlnger with another first down to the 16 on his longest run of the day. It goes for 16.
So you want to play all this coverage, right? And you have people locked up downfield, is almost as if on those last 2 snaps, they're not QB draws by any means. But Sam looking for his opportunity to find that lane and go get those yards.
Just one to snap it. Just barely get it off. Ehlnger throws incomplete. Washington the coverage on Duvernay.
I think also very telling for Tom Herman. I bet you if you told him that you're going to get 4 or 5 shots in the red zone, and Tom wanted a timeout before the snap, does not get it, gets the incompletion. This was an area they felt good about because TCU is last in this conference in the red zone, giving up touchdowns at a nearly 80% clip themselves before game number 7.
Pretty even matchup across the board. That was like the lone exception. A mismatch in the red zone on paper. That's why you play the games. Second down and long. Ehlnger underneath. It's Duvernay. Crowded middle of the field. Trayvon Merrick the tackle. It's 3rd and about 11.
Can you get Johnson to the top of the field in a one-on-one one more time? That has been your best matchup today.
They shade Washington his direction. Johnson against Gladney. Been matched up all afternoon. Looking in his direction. Scanning the field. Delivering a strike, and it's 1st and goal. The 5th-year senior John Burke. An increased role today because Eagles has not played his biggest catch of the season.
And tempo right to the ball for the Longhorns.
From the 5, Roschon Johnson. 2nd and goal. Wyatt Harris the tackle.
Do you have any doubt that Ehlnger was not going to respond? Because he is a veteran, and I had no hesitation as you see Eagles on the sidelines that he would respond like this.
Johnson again lowers the shoulder and gets in. Touchdown, Texas. There is a flag down.
Offside by number 44 of the defense. Penalties declined. Touchdown.
There was 6:50 left to go. Texas back within a score.
You just knew Ehlnger was going to do it because he's done it all season long. Back against the wall, doesn't matter. Down in the 4th quarter to LSU, to Oklahoma, that guy is going to fight, and he's going to scrap, and he's going to run. And that was the big key on that drive, his ability to run. And the huge pass on 3rd down to ultimately set up the touchdown.
Previous 3 drives, they had a total of 2 yards. On this drive, 12 plays, 75 yards. Texas within 3. What a finish we've got coming on Fox. Roschon Johnson gets the touchdown, but the big play was the 3rd and 11 completion to John Burke.
And the senior nickelback here, Ennis Gaines, keep an eye on him. This is 3rd and 11. You have got to make this throw go underneath. He widens, he opens up that zone window. On the clicker tomorrow, when Gary Patterson meets with his crew, he's so demanding of those guys in the secondary. You've got to force that throw to go to the backup tight end, Lato, in the flat. You cannot open that window for a veteran quarterback. Sam delivered.
Open a window for Ehlnger to deliver. Open a window for Texas back into this game. 30-27, 6:50 left to go. Back in a moment. We've seen Duggan seemingly develop more and more confidence as this game has gone on. 13 of his last 15, beginning with that drive where they got the field goal to finish off the first half, which, by the way, a 52-yarder looms large in a 3-point game with 6:50 left. Rager takes it. Spins off initial contact, then gets dropped in the backfield by Jalen Green. So how aggressive are you here as a play caller if you're Sonny Cumbie?
Oh, you have to be.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you see the emphasis there to get your best player of the ball. But once again, Texas strings it out in a pretty good crew sideline to sideline. They have been at their worst, being challenged vertically. That's where the big plays have come over the last few weeks. So I would think over the final 6, you're going to see another shot down the field.
Olanalua in the backfield on 2nd and 11. Back to throw. All day, over the top, looking for another big one. Barber can't get it. Coverage from Owens, and it's 3rd and 11.
I like that play call, and you cannot lose that aggressiveness down the stretch, not when you're going against the group offensively on the other side.
It's much maligned Texas defense. Can they pitch a 3 and out? Get it back to Ehlnger in the offense. 6 minutes left. They're down 3. One-on-one matchups across the board for Duggan to look at. Retreating, lofting, sideline. It is perfectly thrown, but a juggle. It's a catch. John Stevens, first down. Wow. First down, looks like he hung on.
Very similar to Colin Johnson earlier in the game. Remember, he had a little bobble, but he secured it while that foot was still on the ground. I think a very similar reception there by the big receiver Stevens. That was a heck of a throw on 3rd and 10.
Anticipating it. 5.5 to go from the 40. Olanalua. On 2nd down, off play action. Duggan steps up, steps away, takes off. First down in Texas territory. Coburn delivers the big hit, but it's after a gain of 14 for the freshman quarterback.
Thought he could check it down to his running back, and the Horned Frogs running back, 2nd, 3rd leading receivers on this team. Instead, he uses his running back Olanalua to be the blocker. And much like Ehlnger on the other side, you're seeing 2 quarterbacks with the game on the line. The X factor they bring to the table, their ability to run.
Now 63 yards for Duggan. This is a Texas defense. That's been one of the problems, running quarterbacks. Spencer Sanders, Oklahoma State, more than 100. Jalen Hurts, 131. Olanalua gets pummeled this time. Malcolm Roach brings him down. His 4th tackle for a loss today.
Well, he's been a difference maker, hasn't he?
2nd and 12.
The clock becoming a factor inside 4 minutes. Both teams all 3 timeouts. 2nd and 12 from the 45. Ehlnger hoping for another opportunity. On the play clock all the way down. Work out of an empty set. Free rusher flushing Duggan. He'll slide. It's 3rd and long. Boy, Juwan Mitchell has been effective on the blitz today.
That is the exact same pressure look that they sacked Duggan earlier, and you know that Tom Herman is going to allow his defensive coordinator Todd Orlando to do what Todd does best, and that is to get after the quarterback, to not sit there and let those shots down the field happen, but to force the issue. Once again, Mitchell comes unblocked, and Orlando's nature is to be aggressive.
3rd and 14, 2:50 left to go. Again, they empty it out for the freshman quarterback. And again, Texas brings heat. Duggan hit as he throws. Wants Barber. He makes the catch. What an adjustment. What a play. First down, TCU.
Biggest play yet of the game. The Longhorns do what they do best. Osai comes in and he drills the true freshman. But the true freshman on the other side, Owens can't find the ball, and Barber, like he did earlier with the game-changing play, does. Give your difference makers a chance. Elevate the people around you. What Sonny Cumbie wants any young quarterback to do. Duggan aces that test.
They convert 3rd and 14, 2:05 to go. It's Duggan on the pull read. Downhill touchdown. Max Duggan arrives against Texas. And it's a 2-score lead with 1:59. And Sonny Cumbie, who's taken a lot of heat from TCU fans, a lot of heat in the media for the play calling over the first 6 games of the season, as they work from one quarterback to another. Getting the best performance of the young career from the freshman out of Council Bluffs, Iowa. The pride of Lewis Central. Max Duggan for the touchdown and a 10-point lead.
Yeah, that was a great call by you. I think that release of emotion wasn't just about this game, but it's about watching a young freshman have his moment. When was he going to take that step? And Max has taken a bunch of them in this second half, and really frustration over the last few years for Sonny Cumbie. All of that coming out as his gums spitting out.
1:59 left to go. Here's Deshaun Jameson. He got drilled shy of the 20. Well, this game not over yet. It's a 10-point game. Critical there that TCU is able to get a touchdown out of that trip. But 3 timeouts and the veteran quarterback Sam Ehlnger. Got 2 to snap it here. They get it off in time. 8 in coverage. That ball is tipped and incomplete. Jeff Gladney has had his mark all over this game. He got his hand on it there to make it 2nd and 10.
There are a lot of NFL people here. He's a little slow to get up. He's actually going to hop off the field, but he baits that throw, the corner route behind him, and the tip nearly ends up in the arms for the 4th time of a Horned Frog.
That was Ben Wilson. Ehlnger, Ingram, Wilson. Now, Ben Wilson had foot surgery, and so missed the first 5 games of the year. Made his debut on special teams against Kansas State last week, playing some big minutes defensively at linebacker here in this one. Third and 7. Texas running out of time. All 3 timeouts still, but looking for a big play. Ehlnger rolling. He needs the 30. He'll take off and get a first down. Jared Waller the tackle. Clock stops to move the chains.
If you're the Horned Frogs, everything is in front of you. You've got to be deeper than the deepest and not allow that ball to be stretched vertically.
They're looking to stretch it with Johnson. Some jousting out there with Keon Stewart, Gladney's replacement, and it was just out of his reach.
Surprised you leave that matchup. A senior on a freshman in a one-on-one go ball.
7-inch advantage, too.
Yeah.
Unable to hook up. 2nd and 10 with 1:17.
And you see the adjustment for Gary now. You've got a safety on top.
And Gladney back in.
Yeah, that's right.
TCU continues to drop 8 into coverage. Ehlnger continues to have time. He's chased. He throws. 3rd and 10. O'Shawn Mathis hot in pursuit. 1:08 left to go.
those two have been at it all day long. One of the better play callers in all of college football, and Gary Patterson, a guy that tries to defeat every call with his defensive signals. And man, has his secondary been good in this second half.
Third down and coming here, Texas on 4th and 10.
And these receivers are gassed. I mean, these receivers have been running up and down this field as much as they possibly can. Well, here's the game.
Fourth and 10. Last chance for the Horns. Ehlnger steps up. In trouble. Gets rid of it. Picked off. Ennis gains the 4th interception of the day by the TCU defense. That tells a big part of the story. They score 17 straight. And with a 10-point lead in 53 seconds, it's on ice.
That's teaching tape in this second half of how to cover down, even against a loaded receiving core with a bunch of seniors and a quarterback as hot as anybody in college football. The eyes are in the backfield. They know the scheme inside and out. Garawalo has been a force in the run game. He's spying Ehlnger. You rush 3, you put a spy on him, and Gary Patterson knows it. He called one heck of a second half.
Sam Ehlnger will finish the day 22 for 48 with 4 interceptions, a career high.
Could not get the run game going at all. That entire second half, the only run game that got going were Sam's legs, and you just can't do it. Not against this defensive group in this building.
Coburn stops Olanalua. They use the first of the 3 timeouts.
I told you on the other side.
Actually going to let it go, Brock.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. A little surprising.
Well, they know the World Series is next. Huh?
It is Houston. And so Gary Patterson's team, which had dropped 3 of its last 4, started to be questions. Can they even make a bowl game this season? Last time they missed a bowl was 2013. They're going to move to 4-3. They're going to beat Texas for the 5th time in the last 6 years. Olanalua goes down. That will run the clock out, and the questions about where is Texas in year 3 under Tom Herman will remain.
Well, they weren't nearly good enough in this second half, and Gary's Horned Frogs sure were. And we just watched a freshman quarterback grow up and have his moment to take that next step in his career. Max Duggan was awesome in that second half. So was the defense.
1961, the last time TCU took down Texas. The Longhorns were in the top 15. Well, they're going to celebrate this one in style.
Your quarterback, Max Duggan, I know per your policy you don't make freshmen available for interviews. So I'm going to ask you, he made a ton of plays. When did you realize different than your average freshman quarterback?
Well, when we recruited him. I mean, he's a great kid, great family, everything. His future's very bright.
Your voice is gone. Is this going to be a feeling of joy, or what's going on from here?
Hell yeah.
All right, thanks, Coach. Joe, back to you.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, you can't even talk. And TCU comes up with a win. 17 unanswered to finish it. 37-27 the final. Mike Hill, Robert Smith in Los Angeles have more post-game coverage right after these messages. So long from Fort Worth.